Sleep. Sleep is very underestimated and more connected to your health and well-being than you might think. But there's a couple different ways of thinking about sleep. I think, especially in this kind of day and age. So, when it comes to the importance of sleep, there are, you might be one of those people that are have a hard time sleeping, either staying asleep or getting to sleep. And there's a couple different ways you can think about this. Way back when, I would say maybe 16th to 18th century, societies would go to sleep extremely early. I like this idea, around 8 at night, maybe 7 or so. And then at around 2, 3 in the morning, everybody would wake up and gather around a bonfire, sit for a couple hours. Maybe they would write or talk or whatever. There would always be somebody on watch, though, to protect the tribe. And they'd be up, for those couple hours. They would eat, feast. They'd eat something like a big meal or whatever. They'd go back to sleep until around 8 that morning or so. And you can Google search this. This is just something that I had read in the past and seen videos on. And so I like this idea. It kind of fits the way I think sometimes, except I go to bed between 10 and midnight and wake up between 3 and 5. And then depending on what I want to do that day, I'll stay up all the way through and kind of like have a small couple of naps that day, like real small, like power naps. Or I will go ahead and go back to sleep around, after being up for an hour or two, kind of like doing a couple creative things, or maybe connecting with you through social media, podcasts, YouTube, Medium, whatever, and then I'll go back to sleep around 7 or so in the morning, maybe 6:30 or something, just depending on how much sleep I really want, after being up and getting it out of my system. And then I will wake up between 8 and 10 that morning sometimes. So I don't have right now a set schedule. And, it's kind of nice adapting my schedule around things that are transitioning and happening. And I'm starting to do that. I've always kind of been at a starting point of that. And I know if you've kind of been with me on past shows, you know that I haven't shut up about it. And it's not something I want to really go on and on about, because I think it's something that it's a process for me, a starting process that hasn't ended, and there hasn't been like an overall solution or answer to this. It's just here right now, especially, with all these times. And I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I don't want to be repetitive about it, because it's one thing to be accountable, but it's a whole nother thing to try to drill something into your own head. Through, if I'm trying to drill something into my own head through connecting with you, I think that's kind of an unfair use of resources, and it's kind of like I'm trying to show you how to be connected to yourself, not how to be hard on yourself. But if you see me acting hard on myself, how is that not hypocrisy? How is that not helping? So, once in a while it's okay to maybe do that, but I want to try to not do that even in my own mind. So, kind of taking life as it goes into the transition. And, Google even talks about this in their work programs they have going on. They talk about the importance of transitioning new employees, either through their own company or through partnering companies, when they talk about moms going back to work, and things like that. They really get into the family dynamic of it. And they talk about letting everybody transition for the first couple of weeks. And Dropbox has a really cool thing going where you work a day or two, and then you do what you need to do for a day or two, and then you work for another day or two. Like you work Monday and Tuesday, and then you take Wednesday and Thursday off, and then you go back on Friday. And I really like this approach. That's kind of how I did things in a job that I had. And I found that, like, if I missed, and it's not the most responsible thing, so don't do this, but I found that if I missed a day or two of work, when I went back, I had a really good work day, even if I hated the job, like, which I did, but that's a whole nother thing. But, it's funny how that turns out, because, like, now, things that seem like they would be big corporations are doing this, being that companies like Dropbox, people are working more from home, and I love their work culture. They have a whole culture around hot beverage drinkers, coffee. It's their coffee culture, but coffee, tea, things like that. And they have a whole culture around it to, continue to be social throughout their work, so that people are enjoying being there and working with each other, and enjoying the work that they do. So, like, it's really cool how companies are trying different things out that could work and are being a lot more understanding about family dynamics. It's kind of making things not look so grim when it comes to working for a corporation in one way. But yeah, it's kind of interesting, and how our sense of time is changing. And it's funny, this started out about sleep, and then it went to how our culture and time is shifting. So I love it. The way these things are playing out. I've been reading a lot. Just too many things to count. And Googling a lot. And just on YouTube, I've been finding a lot through different, recommendations and stuff. And just wanting to just kind of think out loud about it, really. And something that you may be thinking about as you think about your culture around you, as you think about your family dynamics, as you think about your shift in time, and how time is not so linear anymore. So it's really cool how it works in creative teams, and what I kind of like about the way that I am is, and the way that, you might be, is the not knowing what's happening, in a way, as far as, like, not lack of security exactly, but just the, because all this is changing so much, we don't know. I don't know, it's kind of nice going in a different direction, I think, and kind of like learning what could work and more possibilities, process of elimination, what will not work, and yet process of gathering what will work. So just some kind of thought that I wanted to think out loud, just wanted to take this space to think out loud with you about these things.